The truth is, we are all hiding, and we do it for good reasons. And it's costing us a lot, more than we realize. So, in this video, why you are hiding and what it's costing you, I'm going to show you why we do it, what it's costing us, and how we can actually create deeper connection and real intimacy. Intimacy, connection, we don't miss it because there's a lack of opportunity. We tend to miss it because we don't realize we have unconscious and invisible armor on all the time. Show you what I mean. Many years ago, I was living in a radical therapy center in Holland called Humaniversity. One of the things that we did there was we got together every morning to do home care. And we would gather together and then divide into little teams, partnerships, and go off and take care of the kitchen or the bathrooms. Or, funnily enough, it was always the Germans who were assigned to clean the Germans. The idea, don't know if it's true, Germans have good attention to detail. So, good that they do the bathrooms. One day, I was sent to work in the garden with one guy, a dude named Marcus, who I didn't really know. I was there, I had just come there like maybe a week before, and I was on a 2-week stint. Marcus lived there, and he just seemed really cool to me. He was like strong. His girlfriend was really super beautiful. He had a cool German accent. And so I looked up to him, and literally he was like a foot taller than me. He was also, in my perspective at the time, kind of severe, like stern-faced. So I was also a bit scared of him. However, I'm a good student, and I had learned in my 1 week at Humaniversity that a lot of what we're doing there to get the most benefit, it was to connect with people, to create real intimacy with them. Right? So I was learning about this and said, all right, I'm in, I'm going to do it. So he and I go out in the garden, and man, I'm in. I'm like, Marcus, how long you been here? What are you up to? Where are you from? And he gave me like one-word answers. He wasn't rude, though. The impression I had was like, dude, shut up. Let's just get the gardening done. So I stayed with it for a while, and then I was like, all right, man, I give up. Okay, this is too hard. He doesn't want to talk. Okay. Later, I'm with my family, small group, working with our leader therapist. And I tell her a little bit about what happened there. And then I said, and this is the key of the whole story, then I said to her, and anyway, I'm leaving in a week, so it doesn't really matter. Silence. Nothing was wrong. And then she said, what we want for you is that when you leave here, when you're standing on the front steps and the taxi's about to pick you up, and you're saying goodbye to the people you've met here, you are in tears. Your heart is so wide open. You've made such deep connections with these people that just separating is that painful. My jaw dropped to the ground. What on earth is she talking about? Like, this was such a radical concept to me. Specifically, the idea that time was irrelevant. And what I mean by time was like, my thinking, in case it wasn't obvious, my thinking was, I'm probably never going to see this dude again anyway, so who cares? And what she showed me in that instant was, wait, why would I reduce my intimacy now? My intimacy. Okay, you know the word intimacy? One of the fun new agey twists on the word, into me you see. Into me you see. We'll come back to that. Why would I reduce my connection, love, intimacy from the idea that I might not see this guy again. Well, the truth is, I might not see anybody again. That's just an illusion anyway. So what she said was so profound for me. It changed my cells in that moment. It changed my orientation toward life. Like, what's it like to live? And by the way, I don't always remember this. And part of why I'm sharing it with you now is so that I will remember it better. What's it like for me to live such that I'm giving my fullest self always in the best ways I can, right? The first key that I'm sharing with you through this story is reveal or conceal. Because that's what it comes down to. That's what intimacy or the lack of it comes down to in our lives is, do we conceal? Do we have that armor up? Or do we make the conscious effort? Because we don't have to have, most of us anyway, don't have to put any effort into the armor. We just do that naturally. We learned it from the earliest age, as soon as we encountered judgment or conditional love. So, what's it like to live that we're going for revealing, opening ourselves all the time, not based on, do I think they're going to move in 6 months? Because that leads us into the second key here of the 3 keys, and that is the time trap. So one form of the time trap is, well, I'm not going to open up to them because they're going to leave. And what's underneath that? Do you see it? What's underneath it? Well, what's underneath it? Again, good reasons that we hide. Because it's scary. It's scary to open up. It's scary to reveal ourselves, at least at first. Why is it scary? Because what happens if I show myself, right? If I am a flower and I show it to someone, well, they might not appreciate it. They might be like, huh, who cares? Or they might judge it. Right? They might be, that's no good. Or they might be indifferent. They might not even notice. They might be busy. The bottom line truth, it's got nothing to do with them, really. The revealing is the reward unto itself. Because, all right, we're going deep fast. Stay with me here. Why? Because when we reveal, when we put the flower of our soul and our spirit and our heart open to someone else, yeah, they might step on it. They might ignore it. They might just not get it. They might be full of their own stuff. Natural. What do we do with that? Do we take that as a rejection, or do we just say, oh, something must be going on for them? The ability that we create through the revelation is the ability to love ourselves more, to trust ourselves more. Okay, next part of the time trap. I was speaking a few days ago I was coaching a woman and exploring the possibility of her joining one of my group programs. And in the conversation, she said, well, I prefer one-to-one. And so I said, okay, cool. One-to-one coaching. I'm like, why? How come? And one of the reasons that she spoke was because it's more intimate. So I thought, okay. So that led us into a good conversation about intimacy. How is intimacy created? What are the conditions for it? So the next part of the time trap is, how long does it take to create intimacy? Now, as soon as we look at this, it becomes pretty clear, because you have people in your life, guaranteed, with whom you have spent dozens, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of hours with, and yet you wouldn't call it intimate. You wouldn't call it a deep connection. You might know things about them, or you might not. On the flip side, guaranteed, you have had the experience Well, let me not guarantee. Let me ask you, have you had the experience where you meet someone, you know them for a short time duration, and then if you were to put that person next to that person, or more accurately, your experience of intimacy be way deeper with this person? How can that be? How does it happen that we can know someone for many, many hours, years, and have a deeper connection with someone that we just met? Because it's not a factor of time. It's just simply not. It's not a factor of time because we can go super deep really fast. How do we do it? Well, we open up. Why don't we open up? Because I'd rather they open up first. That's safer. Well, when they open up. So, how does it happen with one person that we go deeper? It's because we revealed something. We opened up to them in a way, something that was a bit scary, vulnerable. And probably, almost for sure, they responded in kind. It's like, I'm thinking of the relationship author, it'll come back to me, who teaches about it. They're all bids, bids. Every time I speak, it's a bid for connection. And when we speak from an open heart with some vulnerability, this is a little sensitive for me. I share it with an open heart. That's a bid, not just for connection, that's a bid for greater depth, for intimacy. So, whichever person goes first, that's how we get deeper. We start, oh, all right, they met me. We can go deeper. I'll share more. Okay. And we go deeper, deeper, deeper. Now, the other part you may have caught already in my conversation with Stephanie, the coaching client. She spoke about one to one compared to group. Well, do we have more intimacy in one to one? Well, is one to one guaranteed to have more intimacy than group? Could it be that in a group context, we could have more intimacy than we do in a one to one? Soon as we were speaking about that, I was posing some of these questions. We were having a great conversation. I flashed on a client of mine, Chris, who we were in a small group container in a group, and I was in conversation directly with Chris. There were, I don't know, 7, 8 other people there. I do this. It was actually virtual. It was on Zoom. There were 6 or 7, 8 people there. Chris and I were in conversation. Chris, I don't remember specifically what it was that we were working on for Chris. However, I do remember that Chris started speaking about some really vulnerable stuff. And Chris, by the way, is a pseudonym right now. He started speaking about being incested and raped and molested and like some really hardcore, deep stuff. And what was amazing about that, one, obviously, Chris had done a lot of healing in himself, that he was able to speak about that in a dispassionate way. That's how he was speaking about it. Two, he had a sense of courage to be able to speak about it in front of other people. We often think, I know, I grew up like, we don't talk about those things. Don't talk about those things with strangers. I was in a beautiful seminar in Australia, great leader, and he told this wonderful story. Not a story. I'm just going to give it verbatim. It's so powerful the way he said it. This morning, no, let me rewind it. Let me get this accurate. This morning, I ate 2 eggs, 2 pieces of sausage. I had some coffee and an English muffin. When I was 8 years old, I walked into the garage of our family home and I found my father hanging there. He'd killed himself. So the guy that was leading this group, it was a communication workshop. He spoke that, and can you imagine what happened in the room? Right? Most people are like, whoa, dude, that's intense. Like, wow. And there's kind of this pin drop silence, like, whoa. And then he explained, when you can speak about whatever's happened, just like you're talking about your breakfast, that's when you know you've healed. So, what did Chris do in that moment when he spoke to me in front of others about those early childhood, just horrible things that happened? He modeled one, the whole group went, whew, like, whoa. Right? Because when one person opens, we all go, oh, that's okay. You can do that in this room? Oh, all right. Well, cool. I didn't know. That's part of the game. Those are the rules. I can do that too. The whole tenor of the group changed from there forward. And part of what we all learned, what we all saw that Chris modeled so beautifully is it's okay. Nothing happened, right? Other people saw like, that's okay for me. He could speak about that stuff. I'm still with you. And he also was teaching himself, yeah, these things happened. Can't change them, though I can create peace. Right? When our wounds turn to peace, they become wisdom. The intimacy that was created in that group through Chris going first, right? Meaning that he opened more deeply than anybody else had at that point. Not that you can really compare because everybody has different issues and challenges and standards and all and sensitivities, all of that. However, if we were all hanging out up here to some degree, Chris went here, and then everything changed after that. Last thing, one more, right? We've covered the reveal or conceal. We've covered the time trap. We just touched into number 3, which is courage creates connection. Courage creates connection. When we are courageous, when we open our heart, courage, the heart, when we open our heart, it creates connection. We love that. And one more piece that came to me in this conversation, I'll share with you. Years ago, when I was leading yoga teacher trainings in Bali, right, our first training, we had 17 people. We were so excited. It was awesome. Next one, we had, I think it was 32 people. Big growth. Okay, cool. The next one, though, we had like 55 trainees, and now we're up to like 10 staff. And I knew, like, we don't need to put a cap on this. Like, the more we grow it, the better it's going to be for everybody. I knew that. Yet I started freaking out. I was like, well, one of the things that's so great about what we've created is that there's all this intimacy and nobody gets lost and there's personal intention. And so then I asked the question, how do we create it such that with a bigger group, we have more intimacy, less chance of people getting lost, that it's even more powerful and deep for everybody? So here's my invitation to you. If this is making sense to you, if you're like, yeah, okay, I can see some ways I hide. I can see there's good reasons for it, like logical reasons anyway. Yet, what's it costing? It's blocking me from greater love, intimacy, connection, from the healing that's available, from knowing people, from serving them, from the income that comes from that, from letting people have the gift of knowing who I really am. That's some of what it's costing us. So here's my invitation to you. How could it be even safer to reveal more? How could you let go of the armor such that you have more safety, more joy? One of my favorite lines from A Course in Miracles: it is in our vulnerability that our true power lies. In our vulnerability, our true power lies. It's all out there. There's nothing you can say or do that's going to offend me. It's going to ruffle my feathers. And if my feathers get ruffled, cool, because then I get to look at that and heal that and create a greater level of freedom. Y'all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being interested in a more vibrant life. I hope that this video is a blessing for you. I hope that you have the courage to go out from here and open your heart more to be the leader, the one who offers some greater depth, some intimacy that conquers the fear, the conceal, and has the reveal, knowing that the reveal is your reward. That's what it takes for us to create a more beautiful world. Live your life as a masterpiece. See you later. Aloha.